Alright, hello you beautiful boys and girls. Dr. Maverick here. Have not made a video in a while. I decided to use this new strategy, well, just basically wing it. That's that's basically the way to describe this. I have no script. So I'm just gonna basically just vent out my opinions and emotions into a microphone for about 20 minutes. Pretty background stuff, nothing's really serious. And, yeah, ignore me. I was kind of getting ahead of myself in this video, but, yeah. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm bored. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel that way nowadays, especially with entertainment. I mean, it sucks. Everything sucks. Everything from Hollywood and Netflix and whoever nowadays, it just sucks because it's unimaginative, it's unambitious, there's no risk, there's no real passion outside of a few outliers. I mean, it's just to find something good is not the norm, which was not really the case back then. I mean, back in the day, you actually had to try. You actually had to try it, or you actually had to do something and create something with ambition and talent and care to really entertain your audience because you respected your audience. But now these studios, they have gotten so big and so fat and so sick on their so high on their own hubris that they don't have any real reason to risk anything. And I found that to be a big issue nowadays. And by the way, just ignore me in the background. This is just me basically working on my a mountain bike that was passed down to me. It's a Candale V500 from my dad. Loved it growing up with the bright red colors. Not red, yellow, and the red highlights. It was cool to look at. And so I decided to fix it up. I think I started this project back in September of 25. A while ago, but I just lost track of it. Life got in the way, finances, switching jobs, my current relationship. It's just I had other things to take care of. But I'm gonna fast through most of this. That way this video doesn't go too long, and it's more entertaining to see me struggle and fast forward. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, back to the main topic of this video. So I've done a little bit of thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think the main issue we have with entertainment nowadays boils down to three main issues. As I said before, the lack of imagination, just none whatsoever. The rise of erotica, and basically the consequences that has led to this, I guess a discontent or just malaise. But yeah, let's just start with part one. So, the first thing I would highlight that is very apparent nowadays is the superhero genre. That is dead. I mean, that is completely dead. There's nothing left. It needs to be tossed aside, or at least rebooted, because there's a lot of material that DC and Marvel can use in their superhero genre stuff. They just don't. And if they do, they change so much of it. It just loses its original value. And yeah, it hurts to see this. Growing up, I used to actually buy comic books as a kid. My uncles and I, even my grandfather, we loved superhero genres because it was fun. It was cool stories. It wasn't just flash and awe. It wasn't just CGI. It was cool. But yeah, it's run its race. I would say it really fell off after Infinity War. That was the peak of that entire era. But ever since Thanos was out of the picture, you really couldn't top that. I mean, they tried to do it with that big giant coming out of Earth, or they could have gone with Galactus, but they already butchered that with Fantastic Four. Again, jeez, that's a cursed franchise. And yeah, just everything else. And I don't know. It hurts to see, but if anything, just reboot it at the very least, and that. Or at least let it die, because what they're doing now is they're just being a dead horse. It's sad. It's whatever. I mean, the same thing happened with the space movies and a cowboy era. It's just life. New trends come and go. It's not always a bad thing, but as long as they keep the main element of a good story, it's usually pretty good. But yeah, that's where I'll say that. And then Sitcoms and rom-coms. That needs to go. I'm kind of sick of seeing it. There's nothing wrong with the concept of the sitcom or the rom-com, but like some shows like Family Guy and The Simpsons, American Dad, they need to go. They've been around for decades, and like if I mean if your first show was on VHS and now you're streaming it on Paramount, then look, it needs to go. I would say Futurama is kind of new-ish. It was kind of like a continuation of the Simpsons universe in a pretty creative way with new characters. And by the way, this OBSBot camera, I got the light version, not the pro version. It kind of loses track of me every now and then, which is a disappointment. But I think it's a mask. It's really most of the AI is trained to recognize faces. So, yeah. I mean, I might upgrade the camera, but I mean, those things are expensive, and this thing works for now. It's cute. It's a little thing that it hovers over my desk or whatever. It's fine. So but yeah. And another thing I would say is political messaging. That is endless. It just never stops. I mean, can you go into one show ever from past 2020 that doesn't have some kind of political agenda behind it? It's just boring. Oh, and yeah, basically at this part of the video, I kind of realized I didn't have all the tools I needed to properly work on my bike. I'm an electrician. I left all my tools on the work site, so yeah, they're not with me tonight. I might buy a new set of tools to probably work my bike alone, so I don't have to worry about getting them mixed up by accident, back and forth from work. But once again, that costs money, and that will probably be another, maybe a couple paychecks in the future, 2-3 weeks. If you want to see me work on my bike a bit more, just let me know in the comments, and I'll be more happy to do so. Just know it won't happen. Just give me a little time, that's all. And yeah, I try to use Timefall 2 in this recording, just so to have some kind of dynamic gameplay in the background while just going on this spiel. But it overclocks my GPU. It just doesn't work. So the combination of the recording and the gameplay just doesn't work. So I'm gonna basically switch over to Minecraft. Okay, let me fast forward through this for you. And yeah, while I'm basically just fast forwarding through this, let's get back to what I was saying. So political commentary, it's gotten bad. I mean, back then it used to be a little clever, where they would just blend in with their own, the politics they create in their own world, like Star Wars. Of course, Star Wars is political if you actually really think about it, but they did it in the right way, where it blended perfectly with a setting of a war you were watching, or even a Lord of the Rings, or shoot, any other movie that had a little bit of a political spin. But it was fine because it was in the confines of the story of the universe. Now there's they're so lazy with it. They're oh, hey, by the way, you know how there's this current issue we're going through right now? We talked about it in the movie. Isn't that so clever? Ha 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 ha. Stuff like that. It's just so dumb. And they're not clever with it. Not at all. The worst examples I can think of is The Boys. That is by far the worst I've ever seen. I haven't watched any of it so far. I heard season 1 was good from other people. I've never experienced it myself, but I heard every season after it was trash, because it was just it was a reflection of what people were living through in the current moment, Trump or MAGA or liberals and Democrats and LGBTQ nonsense, stuff like that, where they would just thrust upon you the current events you are trying to escape. I don't know where they lost this, but in a movie or show, you're meant to escape. It's escapism. You're not meant to be constantly reminded of the problems you're living through right now. That's why you have TV. That's why you have some kind of form of entertainment, just to woosah, to disassociate, just tune out for a little bit. And it used to be a little healthy pastime. Now it's everything is stress and political commentary and some kind of analysis. We're oh, I'm so clever, ha ha. No, you're not. You're lazy. And it's just dumb, and I find it to be a big issue. Another thing I see comes about, not only just politics, but also religion. That's been handled very poorly. Worst example of that is Hazbin Hotel. Really bad. I mean, I'm a Christian, like I'm a Christian, down like 100% Christian, down to the faith. I'm down to the book. That's the way I live. It's my life is based upon that, and to see it just be completely inaccurate in its representation of my faith, it's just I find it stupid. It's like, sure, you can have some kind of biblical story of whatnot, but just to completely twist it and make it into this, that's dumb. I find that I find it distasteful. If they do it to any other religion, like Islam or Hindu or like frick Scientology, you're gonna get sued through the roof. You're gonna be called some kind of like a phobia, like a Islamophobia, blah blah blah. It's like I have no problem with you like critiquing people who messed up while representing the religion, like the Catholic Church. It's like that's a prime example. They did some really stupid stuff in the Catholic Church, and or even the Church of England, where they would use their power to basically abuse and subjugate the people as religious leaders, like the Pharisees did. They were no different than the Pharisees, but that's fine. You are allowed to critique people, all right? You're allowed to critique the flaws of people and where they mess up, but the fact that it's only like selective towards Christianity, I see as an issue, me personally. You may not agree, that's fine. We could have a conversation about that all day, but the fact is this, it's very selective, it's very skewed, and if you're trying to voice like your distaste for this, or like hey, I don't find this very respectful, they just ignore you because Christianity bad, I guess. So yeah, that's one thing I see, and then a bunch of other stuff like Stranger Things. I never watched it once again. Never really got into Netflix. In fact, I kind of stopped watching Netflix because like cuties and stuff like that. That ticked me off. That was disgusting what they did with that. The fact that it was even greenlit really ticked me off. And I just never watched Netflix because of it. But what is it? Stranger Things. That's right. So I heard from a good friend of mine from college that he used to love the show. It used to be a good show, but apparently it just went down the drain because it just couldn't keep politics and like social issues out of it. I mean, you could just have a show stand alone by itself and just explore any topic you want, but with I just don't want to be reminded about all the problems I go through, alright? I have enough of them, alright? I don't need to watch them too. It's just, stop. This is why they're losing so much money. And another thing I find that's, I guess like a fall from grace would be, who's the guy who created the Avatar series, like the guy with the blue people? What was his name? I forgot his name. That's how much relevance he's lost. He used to be a good movie director. What was his name? Director. Google. Come on. Give me a second. James Cameron. That's his face. So yeah. I guess I knew he always had better movies. Like let's say James Cameron movies. Like I said, Alien series. He helped with The Abyss. I heard was a good one. True Lies, Titanic. Like he had some, I guess, decent movies, good movies. Titanic. It's overrated, but I'm not gonna get into it. And like he had some good stuff. Like even Terminator. That was a good one he did. He was a part of the Terminator series. Terminator 2, the best one. But yeah, he fell from grace. He was too busy huffing his own farts to realize he was making trash. But whatever. And but I'm not saying political commentary is a bad thing overall. Like oh, you should never touch it. Like you could be clever with it. Like I'll say one show I know from Netflix. I just saw clips of it, like another stuff. Inside Job. That was a good show. I mean, of course, like they say, like oh, like it still has like the like issues here and there with like sexuality. Like that honestly, thankfully, took a back seat. Because it really just they kind of like fed into like the conspiracy side of things. Like let's see, who did that? Gravity Falls. That's it. So Gravity Falls, that was actually, it used to be a really good show before it went off a cliff as well. But it was like speculative fiction and mystery and thriller and like a little bit of like a horror English, that kind of element. It was actually kind of fun. Like it's like a mystery type of thing, and that's it. And plus it was funny. Like Inside Job, that was a funny show. At first I thought in the beginning it would be like another, like a feminist slop kind of thing, where like, oh yeah, Brett is the bad guy because he's dumb and he's Caucasian and he has like a very nice smile and he has a fur man chick. I thought I was gonna go down that route, but I was actually thankfully surprised. It was like, it actually showed like the flaws of Reagan's thought process, where she just couldn't do everything. Like she's what's the word I'm looking for? It's they complement each other. It was like a symbiosis, like a symbiotic relationship where he was very social, he could handle deals better, he could talk to people better, but she was the brains behind the operation. He was the charm, she was the brains, and that's like how their friendship really blossomed throughout the show. And it actually ended pretty well in the first season. I think it had 2 seasons, I think, but that, Netflix being stupid, just completely butchered that in favor of Smash Mouth. That is an ugly show. I mean, look at these characters. Who greenlit this, like, for that long? Like, I can't imagine it being like some kind of experiment for maybe a year, maybe 1 or 2 seasons, but for the fact that it went on that long, that's disgusting. And I'm not saying everything from Netflix is bad. I'm going to say Love, Death, and Robots. That has to be my favorite series from Netflix. Yeah, it's just like the cool concepts and whatnot. It's like I actually really appreciated it. It's like everything was new. It was like people actually like went out of their way to make a good story. Like a good example of that would be like Good Hunting with like the Kitsune type character or whatever. I forget what they called her in the show, but it was actually clever how they went about this. It's yeah, I liked it. It was very nice. And what was another thing that was like political commentary? I'm gonna say, surprisingly, Avatar: The Last Airbender, that actually handled it very well in terms of politics and like social commentary, because it was confined once again in its own world. They didn't just shove a message down your throat like, oh, hey, colonizing is bad and it's kind of like these people are irredeemable, Fire Nation bad, blah blah blah. Like, no. Or he's irredeemable, he's this, he's that. I'm like, no. Like it's nuance. Like, not every character is like that. Not there's no person is that black and white, and let alone civilizations. And it's like, yeah, sure. The overarching sin of the Fire Nation was they were like a brutal conquerors, but in the same breath, there were people within those nations like Iroh and Zuko, who found out, yeah, this is wrong. Like, we can't live like this. Like what we're doing to people is inhumane, and it has to stop. And that reflects that you can't judge an entire nation as a collective. You have to judge them as a community. And if you do go down the route of, I'm going to judge you as a collective, right, then you should expect that in return. You can't just throw all this stuff in one direction and then be surprised when people throw out your nation's hypocrisies back into your face. It's dumb. And I'll save that for another video or another rant. I mean, I'm mostly just focusing on the fall of entertainment. That's what this video is about. Let's keep it in one direction. And I'd say another one, surprisingly, The Amazing World of Gumball. That was a funny show. Sure, it has its little political nods and winks every now and then, but it was charming. That was a good show. It was funny. I mean, the dynamic between Darwin and Gumball, it was fun. That was a very good show, and I'm actually very glad when HBO continued it. Actually bought the rights to the show and just continued with that show. They actually remained true to the original, the original charm of the first series. So yeah, I appreciate that. That's one show I would say is funny. You can talk about anything you want, but as long as you're entertaining with it, I don't care. As long as you're not preachy and just beating me over the head with a hammer, then I don't care. And what else is there? I'll say I guess you can consider it an anime. I guess Beastars. At first, I didn't want to watch it. I thought oh great, it's part of that community. But not gonna lie, it was also clever. Stuff from Japan is they actually once again, they have to respect their audience, because if they don't make money. They have a much smaller time window to make this stuff. They have a much smaller budget, and they're expected to perform. It's perform or die. That's a part of their culture. And that's one thing I actually respect of the Japanese. They actually do pretty cool things. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think Beastars was actually, they did what Zootopia did, but so much better. It wasn't oh, we're gonna tap our foot on this and be very PC about it. No, they put their foot down. They ran that red light and basically just touched very like, uncomfortable conversations where, like, I guess some people, like, like most of the time would avoid just to avoid scrutiny. But thankfully, the creators and also the creator, whoever she is, I forget her name, and the people who actually made the show, they actually took the time to respect what she was trying to write, and it was nuanced. It was actually well thought out. I actually appreciate that show, despite all the, you know, scenes and issues here and there. I was like, it was a good show. I liked it. And that brings me to basically the consequences of the problems I'm talking about. So, I'll just give you the synopsis. Because there is nothing that is healthy and engaging in modern entertainment, people have flocked to degeneracy to find their thrills. The best example of this I can give you is the book scene, specifically book talk. Like, think about it, go to any Barnes & Noble, and what is the first thing you see? It's smut. It's literally this literary, just written down. That's really what it is for women nowadays. And actually, let me just pull some examples out of my pocket. Like 8-foot tall, beastly werewolf dominates a barely legal petite 5'1" girl, and for some reason it's supposed to be assumed as like, oh, this is so romantic. No, it's not. That's like an issue. Ugh. And but as also the same can be said for men as well. I mean, for goodness sake, like fiction is terrible nowadays, and that leads to the end results of what I'm going to talk about now, which is the end results. So basically, fan bases and people have been turned against each other, and there's just no room for like dialogue at all. It's very toxic nowadays, and you'll find this everywhere, like Reddit, Discord, Twitter, or X nowadays. It's just bad, and yeah, and this also reflects in not only just fandoms, but also relationships. Like, men and women have very different expectations for each other. There's like this fantasy that both sides have fallen in love with. Like, guys want this freak of nature, and then women also want a freak of nature for opposite reasons. Like, oh, like he has to be like extremely tall and sexy and attractive, but he's like so abusive, but it's okay because he's rich. Or like a guy, like they want like an obsessive, very like naughty, very crazy girl, but it's okay because she's hot. It's like, no, this is wrong. Like, and like back then, people used to respect each other, had like healthy ideas and stories to look to as an example. Like, okay, hey, if I want a relationship, what do I look for? And they would look at like a Disney movie or something. But no, it's just bad. And of course, I don't mean all like, oh, everyone's like this. Like, it's just all this is it's just a problem. It needs to be fixed, and we need to talk to each other, or at least see each other's perspective. Anyways, I can go on, but I'm tired. Good night, everyone.